All right, let's talk about those people. You know who I mean. The ones who seem to be made of something else. Totally unflappable, cool as a cucumber, no matter what's going on. What is actually happening inside their heads?
I mean, you know the type, right? The surgeon whose hands are steady as a rock, the presenter who looks completely at ease in front of 1,000 people, or that one friend who just seems to float through total chaos without even a flicker of anxiety. We've all seen someone like this.
And that really is the big question, isn't it? Is this incredible calmness some kind of superpower, a sign of a truly resilient and healthy mind? Or could it actually be a red flag, a warning sign of something much deeper, maybe even something dangerous? Let's get into it.
So here's the twist. This apparent immunity to nervousness, it isn't just one thing. Psychologically, it splits into two completely different paths. The person who never seems to get nervous is either the absolute picture of mental health, or they're a case study in serious psychological distress.
And this really lays out those two paths for us. On one side, you've got adaptive resilience. Think of that as genuine emotional strength, real mastery. On the other side, pathological absence. And that's a dangerous void where emotions have been shut down, suppressed, or just plain exhausted.
Okay, so how in the world do we tell the difference between the two? Let's break down the key psychological markers that separate a healthy, strong kind of calm from a concerning, empty lack of feeling.
Now, what's so fascinating here is how clearly this lays out the contrast. You see, with adaptive resilience, the primary mechanism is effective emotion regulation. It's a conscious, active process of managing your feelings. But pathological absence, that's a total system failure. It's suppression or the body's stress system just giving up. A resilient person feels stable and can still experience true joy. But the person with pathological absence, they're numb, apathetic. They can't feel pleasure. So here's the bottom line. One is about managing your feelings, and the other is about not having them to begin with.
So, let's start with the superpower side of things. What does it actually take to build this genuine adaptive resilience? Well, it's not magic. It's a powerful combination of personality and some very real psychological skills.
First up, a big piece of the puzzle is a core personality trait. People who are naturally low in what psychologists call neuroticism are, well, they're just wired for more emotional stability. It's like their baseline for stress is higher. It just takes a lot more to get them rattled. Next is a really powerful belief system. It's called having an internal locus of control. All that means is you truly believe you are in the driver's seat of your own life. This feeling of agency is a massive buffer against anxiety because you don't feel like things are just happening to you. You feel like you can actually influence the outcome. And that leads right into self-efficacy, which is that deep down belief that you have the skills to handle whatever comes your way. When you trust your own competence, a huge, scary challenge starts to look less like a threat and more like a problem you can actually solve. And that just turns the stress response way, way down. And you know, the foundation for a lot of this is often built way back when we were kids. Tons of research shows that having caring, reliable, and responsive caregivers helps create what's called a secure attachment. And that early feeling of safety and trust can literally hardwire your brain for better emotional regulation for the rest of your life.
Okay, so we've looked at the superpower. Now let's flip the coin and explore the red flag side. This is when a lack of nervousness isn't a sign of strength at all, but a sign that the whole system is broken.
This state is called emotional blunting. And let's be really clear, it is not calm. It's a protective shutdown. The mind, usually to shield itself from trauma or just overwhelming stress, basically turns the volume dial on all feelings down to zero. It's an absence of emotion, not a mastery of it.
And the price you pay for this numbness is incredibly high. It often comes with apathy, a total lack of motivation, and something called anhedonia, which is the inability to feel joy. Life just loses all its color. To avoid the lows, you have to give up the highs, and that often leads to feeling completely isolated and empty.
You know, this can even happen on a physical level. Think of your body's stress response like the engine of a car. If you redline it for too long with constant, unending stress, that engine is going to burn out. The system literally runs out of gas and just stops reacting. That isn't a healthy calm. It's a dangerous breakdown.
So here's the good news in all this. True calm, that adaptive, resilient kind, is a skill. It can be learned, it can be practiced, and it can be developed. In high-pressure worlds like surgery or professional sports, they don't look for people with no emotions. They actively train people to regulate their emotions when everything is on the line.
One really powerful framework for this is the 4 A's of stress management. It's a strategy. First, avoid any stress you can. Then, alter the situation if you have the power to change it. If you can't change it, you adapt your own expectations and reactions. And finally, you learn to accept the things that are truly out of your control. This whole process puts you back in charge.
And this is where you can start building your own toolkit. These are proven techniques like cognitive restructuring, which is just a way of challenging your anxious thoughts, or mindfulness and deep breathing to keep you grounded in the present. Building social support, taking care of your body. These aren't quick fixes. They are the real, fundamental building blocks of a genuinely resilient mind.
I love this quote from psychologist Dr. Susan David because it just nails the goal here. Emotions are data, not directives. Your feelings are just information. They're valuable signals. And resilience isn't about ignoring that data. It's about learning how to read the report without letting it take over the controls. And that's really the main takeaway. A healthy relationship with stress isn't about feeling nothing. It's about building a sense of control and flexibility so that when nervousness shows up, you know how to handle it. You can listen to what it's trying to tell you, and then you get to choose your response. That's real power.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. The next time you feel calm under pressure or you see it in someone else, ask yourself, is this a calm that comes from confidence and control, or is it a quietness that comes from numbness and avoidance? Is your calm a true sign of strength, or is it just a shield? Something to think about.